All right, welcome. So this video is how to maintain a healthy relationship. This video is kind of unique for the types of content that I do on my channel. I mainly focus on self-improvement, self-development. So why am I talking about relationships? The main thing is that I do believe relationships are a huge portion of self-improvement that gets missed over and skipped over a lot of the time. And there are multiple reasons for that. But one of the reasons that I think is just because not enough people really understand relationships on a deep level. I don't know many people on self-improvement who've been able to maintain a long-term relationship. I know that there are probably plenty that I haven't been able to see, but from my observation, there aren't a lot of people who've maintained healthy relationships over long periods of time. And so therefore, there aren't a lot of people who really talk about it either. I am the exception, I guess. I am a lucky individual who happens to be in a 4-year relationship. I've been with my girlfriend since we were not freshmen, sophomores in high school. And we're now, a couple years out of high school, or a year out of high school, whatever. But we've been together throughout our entire high school career. We've been together so far for our entire adult life, and so on and so forth. The main reason I want to talk about this is because we've learned how to work together to build our lives. We've learned how to work together to optimize our self-improvement, right? Both of our main focus right now is our goals and achieving our goals and working towards becoming the best versions of ourselves. And so if you can create and maintain a relationship like this, it's basically a almost like the perfect multi-tool for self-improvement, the perfect super fuel for self-improvement. It's a very good thing to have if you are trying to grow and progress in such a way. If you're trying to become the elite, right? If you're trying to become the best of the best at what you do, it's really good to have a partner by your side who understands that and who knows how to push you in that direction. So this video is all about how to maintain a healthy relationship. If you want to see more results in your day-to-day life, if you want to achieve your goals faster and become more productive, go ahead and click the first link in the description and go sign up for early access to my Academy of Self-Mastery. This program is going to have education, like good educational content, really good educational content on how to optimize your daily routine, how to optimize your habits, how to get into a flow state, being on a dopamine detox, fitness, so much more. Everything you could ever need for self-improvement will be held within this program, and you'll be able to work with me directly through weekly group calls, as well as you can send me DMs and work one-on-one with me there. So if that's something you guys are interested in, go ahead and join early access. I'm giving a major discount for people who get in early access, so go right ahead. But without further ado, let's get into this video. So I have been in one relationship my entire life, and that's something I'm proud to say. Because the first initial signs that I wanted to be in a relationship, for me, I basically just decided I wanted a relationship. And then about 4 months later, I found the woman that I would stick by for the rest of my life. So I was about 14, I think. And I decided when I was 14, yeah, I think I need a girlfriend. Up until that point, I had basically decided that I wasn't interested in it because I couldn't find the right person and I didn't really know what I wanted or needed. However, I knew that when it came to a relationship, I wanted somebody that I would stick by. I wanted something long-term. I wanted something solid, right? I wanted someone that actually matched me, things like that. So I understood these things from a young age. And then when I first got into a relationship, I basically just decided I was going to find a girl that matched what I was looking for. And then within a few months I did. And she's been the only person I've been with ever since that point. So how or why should you maintain a relationship long term? The main reason why is because having long-term relationships is way healthier for you. It is a very powerful source of fuel, of energy, of motivation, which is one thing, but also it teaches you commitment. It teaches you how to stay focused on one thing. It teaches you discipline. It teaches you how to not, derail yourself constantly. And like things like porn, for example, program us to constantly look for the next new thing. But that ruins our ability to enjoy the things we have, right? And so learning to maintain a relationship instead of jumping from relationship to relationship based on what is most stimulating at the moment, it really teaches us to enjoy things in the present moment, enjoy things more. And I will say from experience that it is definitely much more satisfying if you can learn some of the techniques and the practices that I will teach in this video, and some I may not talk about in this video, but there are certain techniques and practices that allow you to do things. For example, like maintaining the honeymoon stage. The honeymoon stage, it was like baby steps to us. Like, we look back to that time and that was just like, that was nice, but nothing compared to how it is now. The point with that is the honeymoon stage is something that can actually be amplified with the right kinds of practices. So most of the problems with relationships are avoidable and preventable, but not enough people understand how to do so. And so instead we kind of just identify with our ego and our emotions, and we jump from person to person instead of being able to focus on working through the problems within the relationship to maintain that connection over a long period of time. So the power of monogamous relationships. The first thing is partnership within the game of life. The main thing that I talk about a lot when it comes to relationships is this is literally your life's partner. Like, people talk about, oh, your life partner. What does that actually mean? In the game of life, right? In the game of making money, entrepreneurship, becoming successful, self-improvement, self-development, and self-mastery. In this game, there is one individual that will be an actual direct partnership within that game, right? You can have business partners, you can have friends, but nobody will actually be directly a part of your progression, your self-improvement journey, other than a woman, right? Other than the woman that you allow close enough to you to be a part of that journey. So if there's nobody else that would be a partner in this game for you, that makes the partner that you choose, the woman that you choose, very, very, very important, right? It's very important that you choose the right woman, because she is literally going to be half of your capacity, half of your ability to move in the right direction. If it's very, you can compare it to a business partner, right? If one partner understands the business and is moving in that direction, while one partner is kind of just drifting and kind of distracted by his business and that guy's business, and oh, that's kind of cool, that's shiny, that's nice, let me go spend some of the money from the business on that. One partner is focused and dedicated towards moving in that direction. One partner has no clue and doesn't want to move. What kind of dynamic does that create, right? Versus you have one partner who knows the game is moving in that direction, another partner who knows the game who's moving in that direction, and they do so together, right? This makes their ability to progress much more concentrated, and therefore they can progress further. So the next thing is masculine-feminine dynamics. So when it comes to any form of creation, masculine-feminine dynamics are a key role. The masculine unit essentially sets the structure, it sets the vision, right? If you think of consciousness, awareness, interacting with life and energy. Consciousness, awareness, the direction, sets the direction of the flow of energy. And then the feminine is essentially that energy that kind of flows with the structure that it's given, right? So the masculine component is the structure, the feminine component is the energy, right? And then what happens when masculine and feminine work together is the masculine sets the direction and the feminine is the energy that moves in that direction, right? So by utilizing feminine masculine dynamics, we're able to actually optimize for more growth, more productivity, more achievement within our life. And the next thing is love and the cultivation of your highest ambitions, right? So cultivating deep love is essentially the equivalent of returning back to yourself, right? If you think of the soul would be a state of pure being, of pure love. And then the cultivation of your highest ambitions. So when we work together with a woman that we're in love with, right? When we are deeply in love with this person, we're able to use that energy to manifest deeper aspects of ourselves, manifest deeper aspects of our own success, and specifically cultivation of our highest ambitions, right? It generates the ability for us to essentially mold and shape ourselves and our energy in such a way that we can grow more and faster, right? And the reason I say that love is the thing responsible for this is because love is essentially the thing that is created when feminine and masculine is united. And the unification of feminine and masculine is what allows great change to happen. You think of any form of creation starts with sexual energy and the connection between feminine and masculine sexual energy, right? Two men cannot have a baby, two women cannot have a baby, but a man and a woman together can have a baby. A single man cannot have a baby on his own, a single woman cannot have a baby on her own. The two together can make a baby. And if you can understand how to use sexual energy correctly, you don't create a baby every time you have sex, right? You don't have this desire to have children every time you're near a woman, but you can use this energy as just the same. You can unite together and create essentially what is the manifestation of your goals, right? That's the next level, the deeper level of utilizing sexual energy. And so we can essentially cultivate our highest ambitions, our highest goals through lovemaking, right? In a specific sense. And this is how we get into sexual alchemy. Again, I don't talk about this on my channel quite yet, but I will get into it eventually. If that is something you're interested in, you can go and find The Perfect Matrimony is probably the best book on this topic. The Perfect Matrimony by Samael Aun-Weor. That book will go over everything. You can find it for free on glorian.org. So if you go to Glorian and look up, they have a books section. You just look up The Perfect Matrimony by Samael Aun-Weor. You'll find it there. You'll be able to read the whole thing for free. But essentially, sexual alchemy allows you to work through the ego, work through the flaws of your being, of your vessel, and transform them into essentially cultivation of your highest ambitions, transform it into your ability to then go and achieve your goals. So all of the flaws that are in your way can be worked through and transformed into skills that can optimize for your ability to achieve your goals. And the way we do this is through alchemy, through sexual transmutation. And being in love allows you to open yourself up to those highest ambitions, right? When you're in any of the lower vibrations, the lower frequencies, it's typically a lot harder to see yourself reaching the highest possible level because you're kind of still in this like low root chakra, sacral chakra kind of state where you're still basically stuck in the animalistic instincts and the cycles of life, basically. But when you can break out of that, get to a higher state, which is where you are when you're in love, you are able to open your consciousness up to your highest visions, your highest ambitions. And if you can maintain this over a long period of time, that actually allows you to bring those in and start to integrate those things, become those things, and then create them within this world. So realizing problems and conflict are healthy. This is the next section. The reason why couples argue is mainly because they are too focused on themselves to be able to work together to solve the problem, right? The reason why couples argue is because they individually want to be right. And that is where most people stop, right? I want to be right. This person is wrong, so I'm leaving them. That's it. End of story. But you can completely avoid the arguments, right? Every couple is going to have some form of disagreement, but you can skip the arguments and realize when there's a problem and learn how to actually sit with that problem together and talk it through in a way that you can solve the problem, right? So you can use disagreement to grow rather than just fight with your partner, right? So not enough couples understand the power and the transformation that can be held within a powerful relationship, a strong connection with an individual. And so they just argue, they want to be right. Their egos are stronger than their ability to love their partner. And then what happens is this disagreement leads them to growing apart, leads them to destroying themselves and each other, and causes conflict, trauma, all these issues within the relationship, anxiety problems, fear. But you can avoid it all and use disagreements to grow rather than fight. A disagreement just means that like you two are out of resonance, right? You're dysregulated. And so the way that you create resonance is by talking through the problem in such a way that you can solve it, right? And then this will end up forcing you to kill your ego. And that's the problem for most people. They don't want to go through killing their own ego, even if it's to protect the relationship that they seem to care about up until that point. But what it will do is force you to kill the ego. And when you kill the ego, you essentially become free, you have more consciousness available to you, and you open up space for more people, right? So the individual, the woman that you're with, if you two are disagreeing on something, what do? Do you fight with her, or do you ignore her? Or are you going to sit with her and then have a conversation that will deeply bring that problem to light and then help you to dissolve and destroy it? The reason why people won't pick the last one is because it requires you to kill your ego. You have to put down your own ego. You have to stop being, I'm right, I'm right, I'm right. And, you know, that's pretty difficult for a lot of people. So you have to make the trade-off. You kill the ego and you get that reward, or you leave the ego as is and you protect it with your life, but at the cost of this relationship and any future relationships you may have as well. So the creation of your ideal life, why relationships are so valuable, is mainly for this purpose alone, the creation of your ideal life. Sexuality itself is not just lust. Lust is a perversion of sexual energy, right? Lust is overwhelming desire, and that desire can bleed into your sexuality, and it is mainly fueled by your sexuality. But lust itself is separate from sexual energy. Sexual energy is the energy of creation. It is creative energy. It is the creative force. It is the life force, right? So if these things are true, sexuality is truly a process of creation. Sex itself with another woman, or if you're a woman, another man, is an act of creation. It is an act of cultivating and building and creating something new. And what this thing is, if it's not a baby, right? If it's not physically a baby, it will create new energy within you. It will create new light. It will create new visions, a new ability, new opportunities to go and achieve them. It will start to build and create things in your external life. And so if you have the right vision, the right intention, and the right focus, you can direct this energy towards creating your best life, or you can direct it towards creating your worst. Most people who are stuck in lust, this is what they do. They use their sexuality against themselves, and so create more and more unfortunate situations, right? More and more unfortunate situations for themselves, and then they blame circumstance, right? They blame chance. They blame fate. But in reality, they are the ones in control. They just don't realize what it is they're doing that's causing this. Because everybody is releasing their sexual energy, because everybody's in lust. They think, well, that can't be the problem. Everybody's doing it. It's normal. But in reality, that's why everybody is suffering. So the way that you manifest your ideal life with a partner, with an individual that you are together with, is you guys can come together, you can have sex, and you do so without orgasm, right? You don't do so out of lust. You do so out of a need to connect and fully express this energy. And so the way you learn to do this is by cultivating your own sexual energy, learning breathwork techniques and pranayama, learning meditation, learning to manage your own sexual energy, not jerking off every time you feel horny, but actually channeling that energy into something productive and learning how to do so. And then when you do have a partner, what you guys will do is essentially in the sexual act, you are fully present, fully aware. It's almost like a state of meditation. And you're just working with the energy that has presented itself right in front of you in that moment, right? So what energy is presenting itself? Either it's tension, lust, or like just a free flow of energy, right? You just work with it as it is. And your goal is to slowly transmute it into a more subtle form that can be integrated into your being, right? Integrated into the rest of your body, circulated through the rest of your body. And then what will happen is you guys will create a new energy, right? Masculine sexual energy, feminine sexual energy together makes love, right? That is a very pure, very powerful form of energy. And that can be used to manifest anything you want in your lives. And so the way you manifest through this is by cultivating a practice of sexual alchemy with your partner. And then you two together talk about and discuss your plans, your goals, what you want to achieve in life, and direct all of the energy you guys are creating and building towards the achievement of that goal. And then, so the thing is, the way to win in doing this is to cultivate that vision together using both of your strengths, right? So the masculine is the workhorse, right? The masculine can go, achieve tasks and goals, sets the goals, has the direction, and is aggressively moving in that direction. The feminine, however, and this is something we've lost with modern society, is the power of the feminine. The feminine, however, is the energy by which we can sustain that state, right? The feminine, think about when you have the right type of woman by your side, she almost recharges you. For any men out there who are hard workers, or just in general men out there, she recharges you, right? She is a source of energy for you. And so the way that you get to a point where you can actually feel the benefits of that is by no longer releasing your sexual energy with her. That's one of the main things. When people release their seed, that's why you feel so drained after seeing your partner. It's not because of the woman. Women are distractions. No. Lust is a distraction. Lust is a distraction, 100%. Women are not distractions unless you're with the wrong woman, right? But she essentially recharges you, right? So utilizing both of your strengths means basically create a lifestyle that optimizes for your woman to be a woman, right? She needs to be free, she needs to be able to flow, and she needs to be she needs to have the space in order to do so. And that's what the masculine does. The masculine creates the space in which she can do so. And then in turn, I made this analogy to my girl yesterday, and she liked it. Essentially, I provide the home, and then you essentially, what's the word? Oh, I forgot how I said it, but I said it really well. Essentially, the masculine provides the home, the woman takes care of the home, right? So the masculine provides the home, it creates the space, right? Here is the space. The woman takes the space, and then she does with it what she pleases. The right kind of woman will make that space feel like a home. The right kind of woman will take care of that space, cultivate it to be a beautiful space with good energy. And a bad woman will do the opposite, right? And so by understanding this, essentially, I create the vision, I have the intention, I have the goal, I'm moving in that direction. And with that, I create the space for you to just flow with me. And so with that, she's able to just live free, flow, do her thing. And like practical things, it's basically just like she focuses on self-improvement, she focuses on fitness, she focuses on things that she cares about in the moment, learning, growing, and evolving. Meanwhile, I focus my attention on creating the space necessary for her to do so, and moving directly towards my specific goals, right? And then the way we utilize this together is basically, I am the main workhorse, right? And then she essentially takes care of some of the smaller tasks. She's kind of just there as a unit to provide energy, provide light, just be there with me. Someone to talk to and essentially regulate certain problems within the business or whatever it is, right? So a better way to explain this is essentially we work together based on our specific strengths. So when I need to make a logical decision, I make the decision. When I need help intuitively moving in the direction I need to move, when my thinking pattern of decision making has gotten me confused and lost, I go to her and she gives me an intuitive direction. Well, I think you should do this. I think you should focus on this. And it's usually not something, at least in my brain, that would be practical. It's usually just well, here's the main thing to focus on. And then within that, you'll probably find what you're looking for, right? And that's kind of the difference is, I think logically, she thinks intuitively. She wants to be able to flow. I want to have structure, things like that. So you basically, instead of being okay, we're just complete opposites, we don't work well together, you can actually utilize each other's strengths to move fully in that direction. So a main thing is, I don't know how to relax, right? I don't like to relax. I don't like to stop. She is one who can bring me into a state of relaxation. So another thing is like she is able to see within me the ability to go and achieve that goal. She is basically unable to see me any other way than my best self, right? Than the version of me that's achieving my goals. And so when I'm feeling lost on that, and I need a way to see it without seeing it, because for me, I see it based on the numbers, based on the progress, based on the evidence, the results, right? She just intuitively sees things, right? So therefore, when I'm feeling derailed or I'm off track or I don't know, I can't like see the vision anymore, she's there to remind me of it. She's there to bring me back to it, right? Recenter me, to focus back onto it, right? So that's just another example. But again, the main focus is that you guys are able to use both of your strengths, optimize for both of your strengths, and therefore cultivate that vision that you have together. The last section is the power of masculine-feminine polarity. So the first thing is that opposites attract for a reason, right? The reason why masculine and feminine are attracted to each other is because they're actually halves of a single whole, right? Each human being is complete, yes, but on the animal level, on the physical level, there is a masculine and there's a feminine. The two together is what creates, you could call it God, you could call it Elohim, but really what it is it's a unified being, it's a single point, it's a androgynous being, right? You make one singular whole when you're together, right? One whole, two halves of one whole, right? So these two opposites attract for the sake that they are essentially, they need each other to be able to operate to the fullest of their capacity. And so that's why we want relationships. It's natural. We know, we understand on a deep level that we need a partner in order to live our lives to the fullest of our capacity, right? To be able to achieve our true potential, our fullest potential, we need to have a woman by our side, right? So opposites attract for the reason that I have this set of skills, you have this set of skills, right? And so we come together to use those skills together in order to achieve a goal, right? If you think of it like this, a woman is like the womb, the man is what inserts the vision or the blueprint, right? That's what a sperm cell is, it's a blueprint, right? I insert the blueprint, she is the womb in which cultivates that blueprint. That's a much better way of saying what I was trying to say in the last section, right? She's a womb, she cultivates the blueprint into an actual physical being. I contain the blueprint, right? And so a simple way of looking at it is basically masculine is the direction, right? The blueprint. And then she is the energy by which cultivates that blueprint, right? And so the two of you together can create whatever you want in life. Literally, a couple who understands sexual alchemy, they are as powerful, if not more powerful than, a god, basically, right? You are as powerful as a god when you are in this state. Not in the sense that you're better than God in some way, not in the sense you can go against God or whatever you view as God, but in the sense that you have the power to create anything that you want within this world, right? And that's a very powerful state to be when you're working within your nature, right? That's the main thing. You are now working within your nature, right? You are now working with your nature instead of against your nature. And so therefore, the world reality is actually more moldable to you, right? It's more bendable to you. It's more willing to move for you. And then when you're together, you create the ability to create, right? You can actually create whatever you want when the two unite together, as I've said, right? This is how you create life, and this is how you create inner light as well, right? This is how you cultivate inner light. So this highlights the power of maintaining a healthy relationship, specifically a monogamous relationship. If you guys enjoyed, please leave a like and also comment down below if you learned anything new. If you guys want to see more content like this, press the subscribe button. And for those of you who are serious on your self-improvement and want to take it to the next level, go ahead and click the first link in the description for early access to the Academy of Self-Mastery. But other than that, that is all I have for you guys, and I'm out of here. Peace.